Last night I came across this video from Clara. I think her name is Clara Dow. She seemed like a very big influencer, and in the video she was talking about her recent breakup. Now, I am not a fan of her. Actually, I've never seen her content before. This video is like my first encounter with her content. However, I am aware of the controversy around her, but we're not here to talk about it. So, in the video, she was talking about her feelings, what happened with her ex. She seems like she is in a lot of pain because of the breakup. What she shares sort of reminds me of myself. If you watch my other video, you probably know that recently I've gone through a breakup as well. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about this topic of breakup. And a few things, 4 or maybe 5 things you maybe should do, in my opinion, my advice, or shouldn't do after a breakup. The first thing I feel from her video is that she is still very much in love with her ex, and she even said that I will always love him unconditionally. My thing is, the first thing that I do is that I stop loving the person. I don't know how I do it. Is it just some sort of DNA miracle or something? But after a breakup, I can literally feel the love slowly, gradually leaves my body. Like the breakup is this point, and then like after the breakup, my love like just slowly goes down until it reaches 0 or below 0. That's what I advise you guys to do. Like, if the breakup happens, just stop loving them. It doesn't serve you to still love the person. And I know sometimes it's not that easy because you can't really control your feelings, your love. But that should always be the goal, to stop loving them. And I will advocate for my ex or anyone's ex to stop loving me too. We're done. Let's just move on from here. The second thing, still in that same sentiment, is that she will always love the person unconditionally. The thing about me is that I don't love unconditionally, and you shouldn't either. Loving unconditionally should be reserved for parents and children, grandparents and their grandkids, but in a romantic setting, I don't advocate for loving unconditionally. I don't know about other people, but personally, my love is very conditional. I typically don't or can't love someone who doesn't add values to my life, who does not make my life better. Like, I'm not trying to lecture anybody. I just think that love, as romantic and as sacred as it sounds, it's just a part of your life. And whatever part of your life should enhance your life in general. And love is no different. So why would you want to love if it reduces the quality of your life? If the person comes into your life and just sort of add nothing to it? So loving conditionally. Don't love unconditionally. One more thing, the third thing I saw her doing was, it seems like she's very much romanticizing the past. Now, this is inevitable after a breakup. there will be moments that we all romanticize the past, but we should be able to be aware of it and see them for who they, and see it for what it is. Romanticization. I don't typically romanticize my past. I tend to look at both the good and the not so good parts. Romanticization does not help you move on. When you romanticize your past, you are essentially feeding your own addiction. Love gives you dopamine. Love is an addiction. So when a breakup happens, you are forced to go into withdrawals. The person is not there to fit your addiction anymore, and that's why your brain tries to get it from somewhere else. So it romanticizes your past, try to relive the moments, the good moments, to fit in that addiction. So you're not gonna move on by continuing to romanticize your past, continuing to, fit your addictions. If anything, I would advise you to do the opposite. Instead of looking at the good parts, the good moments of your relationship, look at the not so good part. We do this not to villainize the other person, okay? It's not the purpose here. It's for you to, first of all, get a grip of reality. There must be both good and not so good parts in your relationship. That's why it crumbles. If there are only good parts, we are not going to be here today. We're not going to be here today. So look at the not so good part. Look at them for what they are and feel them. Feel the negative emotions. Like when you are angry, when you are disappointed, when you are pissed off in the relationship. These negative feelings are beneficial to your moving on journey. They essentially help you to detach from whatever kind of love or whatever kind of passion, emotion you still have for your ex. I do it very often. I just look at all the things I'm not happy with in the relationship. And then I was like, I wasn't treated the way I wanted to, so move on. Okay, so the next thing that a lot of people, including Clara, do, but I personally don't quite agree with, is putting your act on your channel. Now, I don't say that it's always a bad decision, okay? But you have to look at that decision under a different light. When you put your partner on your channel, this decision should come from a strategic point of view. Like, this person will help you make the content that grows your channel. So you put him or her on your channel because it benefits your growth, not because you love this person so much you want to show it to the world. And I know I sound very bad saying this, but if you put someone on your channel just because you love them, like you don't gain anything from it, just because you love this person, then when things like this happen, like when the breakup happens, what do you have left? All the videos, all the photos, all the content on your channel become painful reminders of your past relationship. Of course, you can choose to delete them. A lot of people do that. But maybe it will impact your channel, right? On the contrary, if you put this person on your channel because you know that they help with your engagement, it's again in grow, in financial, then it's a strategic decision. And even when breakup happens, you already got what you wanted from the situation. When you think back about it, it will be less painful for you because you make the decision to serve yourself instead of serving the other person. I know it sounds bad, but it really does make you feel less painful when it is for you and not for somebody else. Also, in Clara's case, she is a lot popular than her ex at the time they got together. So really, who benefits here? In the same sentimental, if I don't really like putting my relationship in front of the public eyes, then I also don't want to put my breakup in front of the public eyes, not in real time, okay? I'm not saying don't film breakup videos, don't film you sharing your pain, your feelings. I'm not saying that. I'm gonna do the same. Probably one day I will have a video talking about the breakup I had. So I'm gonna do the same, and I don't think that crying is cringy. Like, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like crying on the internet is cringy. Or maybe it's just me, but I don't feel that way. What I'm saying is, don't put it out there in real time when you are in the middle of the agony. Breakup is so painful. It is so distressing towards your body. You essentially have to use most of your energy to process your emotions, to try to heal. So it takes up a lot of energy in your body. That's why when you film videos about this breakup and you are in pain, there is a high chance that you may say something or do something that you will regret later. You can't see it right now. You can't see that, okay, this thing that I'm saying or doing, it's not going to benefit me later down the line. And when you put it out there, the internet has its own memory. You can't really take it back completely. At least not if you are not a powerful or rich person, okay? When you are in so much pain and you do something or you say something that potentially is offensive or like people don't like, the people on the internet can be very unkind to you. And normally, maybe you can just brush it off. Like, you have been an influencer for a few years. I mean, I suppose she has been. So she probably learns how to deal with negativity and, like hate comments. However, when she or anybody is in a mentally weak position, these unkind comments can be very detrimental to your mental and physical health. I don't say don't tell people about your breakup. I mean, they make for good content, like they are good for engagement. So why not monetize what you can? It's your life. In this economy, if you can monetize it, monetize it. I'm just saying that give yourself some time. You can film the video right now, but wait a few weeks or maybe even months if you need to, and then you can see which part should be edited out. And I know someone might argue, oh, but if I put it out right now, it's raw feelings, it's my authenticity, it can resonate with people more. And I get that. But like, if you film the video right now, it's still your raw feelings. It's still your authenticity. You just edit out the part that might not serve you later down the line. Yes, so that's the thing that I probably wouldn't do, which is like to put my breakup in front of the public eyes in real time. But obviously, this is not a problem that I have to worry about, since my channel is like super tiny micro. Not my problem, but I'm just saying, you people out there with, a decent amount of followers, maybe you should think a little bit more when putting your breakup out in front of the public eyes in real time. Okay, give it some time. Give yourself some time. It's the most important thing. Give yourself some time to heal, to be in a better place mentally and physically. By the way, this is future me editing. One more reason why I wouldn't advocate for you guys to put your breakup out there in real time is because, I don't want my ex to see how painful I am. I don't want him to be able to see me crying or anything over him or over the breakup. Obviously, since my channel is like so small, I don't have to worry about any of my exes finds out about my channel. But really, I'm not fond of the idea of them seeing me crying and getting so sad, so hurt about the breakup. Maybe it's just me and my, I don't know, toxic mindset. But why? Like, why would I want them to see that? Once they live my life for me, they are not worthy of my time, my attention, my emotions anymore. So even if behind the closed door, I am in pain, I am in agony, I still don't want them to see it. They don't deserve to see me in pain, or they don't deserve to see me crying. Not that I hate any of my exes, okay? Like, some of them treat me very well during and even after the relationship. But still, it's the same. Once they live my life, let's just leave it at that. Like, they don't need to know anything more about me after the breakup. Like I always say, what's done is done, and that's that. Next, this is probably the last thing that I don't advise people to do. You don't have to take my advice, okay? But it's just something that I personally don't do. One thing I can deduce from her video is that she loved this boy very much. Because why wouldn't she? I mean, you know, he was her boyfriend. Obviously, you love your boyfriend or girlfriend. However, me personally, I wouldn't love the way she loves. I feel like she loves like a lover girl. And to each of his own, but I don't love like a lover girl, and I don't advise people, like especially women, love like a lover girl. When you love like a lover girl, everything is romantic. You see the person, you see everything under a romantic light through rosy tinted glasses. And this is potentially not good for you and for the relationship. Because when you love like a lover girl, you tend to do a lot. You tend to give a lot. You tend to make sacrifices for the sake of the relationship or for the other person, which in turn can result in you forgetting about yourself or not prioritizing yourself enough in the relationship. And this is like very, very bad. I fall into that trap sometimes, okay? I'm much better at realizing myself doing it right now, but I can't guarantee that I will never do it again in the future. Like, you know, I'm weak. But again, you should realize that loving like a lover girl means that you are doing too much, sometimes doing too much. And why is it bad? The thing is, men don't love like women, okay? We have different way of loving a person. Men tend to love or to fall in love through their own investment. The more they invest in you, time, energy, money, whatever else they have, the more they invest in you, the more they fall in love with you. But when you already do too much for this person, you always want to spend time with him, you do everything to accommodate him instead of the other way around. You make everything easy for him. He doesn't have to invest anything to be with you. You are essentially robbing your boyfriend, your man, of opportunities to fall in love with you. And with Clara, in Clara's situation, I can tell that she's, at least from what she said, she seemed to make quite a lot of adjustment, a lot of accommodation to her boyfriends. Maybe it's just the way I see things and it's not her actual reality, but that's what I see from watching her videos. Yeah, me personally, I don't love like a love of girls, and if you do, I'm not here to criticize the way you love, okay? I'm just trying to point out the potential harm that might happen when you love a girl. As for how should you love, I can't tell you how should you love, okay? It's your life. You figure out a way that works for you. If it works for you, it works for you. For me personally, since I don't mind staying single and being single or being in a relationship, these are two different things, but to me they don't bother me that much if I am single or not. So when I love, I tend to love for what they can bring into my life instead of just loving because my brain chemicals tell me so. I tend to look at the person's behaviors and actions to see if they are consistent, if they like me more, if they are investing in me. In other people's eyes, I could look like a very selfish person, and I admit I am a selfish person, at least when it comes to relationship. I tend to look at things under the line of what benefits does it person bring to me, or how is this beneficial to me. Sound very American here, I would admit. But sometimes these kind of mindset, these kind of ways, they actually help you a lot. Because when you look back at your relationship, you could at least tell yourself that, well, I got something out of it anyway. Again, is the future me. By the way, if you are going through a breakup and you need to consume some sort of tutorials or like book on how to get over a breakup, this is not an ad, okay? Like I have under 100 followers, so no subscribers, so no, this is definitely not an ad. But a TED talk that I find very useful is How to Fix a Broken Heart by the author Guy Winch. I hope I pronounce his name right. He also has a book on the same topic, How to Fix a Broken Heart. And I find that what he talks about in his TED Talk is very, very useful. So if you either want to watch his TED Talk or want to buy his book, I would recommend it. For me personally, it was very helpful. So yeah, I hope you will find them helpful too. Yeah, so that's just a few things that I personally do or don't do in a breakup. Watching her video reminds me of myself, and I just want to put it out there and being very clear that I'm not doing this video to point out what's wrong with her, okay? That's not the case at all. I'm not here to hate on her, to criticize her. That's not what I'm doing. Please don't leave any unkind, any hate comments under her channel or her videos. If you've ever gone through a breakup, you know how painful and disruptive they are. You know how much energy they can take up from a person. So in these tough times, in these tough moments, just don't be one of those people who, just make it harder for the person in that situation, okay? Well, anyway, thank you for listening to my rambles. This is not my best work. Like when I think about this and I talk to myself in front of the mirror, I have so much more thing to say. But when I turn on the camera to talk to you guys, I'm just so nervous. I forget most of the thing I want to share. But this is already like a long enough video. See you in my next video.